Welcome back to the channel. So today's question is maximum total subarray value 1. In this we have to find the maximum values out of k subarrays. So if we have to generate two subarrays whose sum gives us the maximum value. Let's say we have selected two subarrays such that 1 3. So their answer is gonna be 2, as you can see that 3 minus 1 gives us 2. And the another subarray we can choose, if we suppose select 3 and 2, that's gonna give us 1, but we require the maximum one. So it is clearly mentioned in the question we can repeat the subarray. If we can repeat the subarray, so we are gonna select the maximum subarray multiple times. So we are gonna select this again, so it is gonna give us again. So it is a first subarray and is a second subarray. So we got 2 again, so the total sum we got is 4. So one thing I can say that we can select the same subarray to generate the maximum answer. As you have seen in this example, I have used 1, 3 subarray twice, as it mentions that k equals to 2. So I have used 1, 3 2 times. So I got the optimal answer 4. I can now try run with this another example. So in this example, let's try to form the subarray who has the maximum value. So let me try run with this example. So the example is 4 2 5 1. So I select 4. The maximum is 4 and the minimum is 4. Now I go ahead. I selected 2. So 4, 2. In this, the maximum is 4 and the minimum is 2. And thus, so in one go, I'm trying to find how much maximum value can I get from one pass or from this subarray that I'm trying to. So the sum, I say that, so before it's 0, now it become 2. Now in 4 to 5. In 4 to 5, maximum is 5, minimum is 2, the maximum sum is 3. Now in 4 to 1, the minimum is 1 and the maximum is 5. So the answer is gonna be 4. So the optimal answer that I get from this array is 4. So we are gonna return 4 into k times. That's gonna give us the answer. This means that we have selected 4 2 5 1 3 times as a subarray, which is clearly mentioned in the question. So we are returning this k times. So we got 12 as an answer. But one thing you have noticed, do you notice that we got the maximum as 5 and the minimum as 1? So we can directly access them. As you can see that we can select 1 and 5 and we will just generate their absolute difference and we will return that, because we are doing that the same with here. As you can see that I have just written 5 minus 1 into k times. Here I got the maximum. How do I got the 4? I got 4 by 5 minus 1, which gives me 4. Now I can return 4 into k times. That's gonna give me the answer 12. So in code I will just find the max element and min element, and I will return the absolute. I will return just max minus min into k times. That's gonna give us the answer, as you can clearly see that. Now just let's code it up. So I will use max element and min element functions to get the maximum and minimum element out of the array. So I defined two variables, mx and mn. Mx stores the maximum value out of the array and mn stores the minimum value out of the array. If you don't know this function, you can just iterate over the nums and get the minimum and maximum answer. That is very pretty basics. I know you can solve it like that. Now I will just return the answer, which is, so I am typecasting it to a long because that is gonna give us a very big answer, because we are multiplying it with k and the constants are high, so that's why I'm gonna multiply with long. Now mx minus mn into k, that's gonna give us the answer, as you can see that. Now let's move towards the time and space complexity. So the time complexity is, both of this function max element and min element are gonna go with big of n, both gonna go big of n. So the time complexity is big of n plus big of n gonna give us big of n. Now the space complexity is, we are not using any data structure for storing the values, we are just using some variables, so it is constant, which is gonna give us big of 1. So that's the time and space complexity. Now coming to the conclusion. So the solving of this question with optimal approach is just find the maximum minimum element. As you can see that when we iterate over the array, we generate multiple subarrays, but we got the maximum element and minimum element at the end, which gives us the optimal sum. So we return that k times. That's how we are gonna get our answer. Thanks for watching this video. Like, share and subscribe, and the code is in the GitHub link.